Welcome back, everyone, to today's Explainer. I am so thrilled you're here because, well, today we're tackling something that affects literally almost all of us. We're looking at how to conquer that awful anxiety of speaking under pressure and how to actually express your ideas clearly when the spotlight is suddenly right on you. You know that dreadful feeling when your mind just races, your words jumble, and you end up, well, rambling? Yeah, we've all been there. So let's dive into our source material for today and figure out exactly how to structure your thoughts on the spot using some incredibly cool communication and psychology frameworks.
So, you know that universal frustration of leaving a meeting feeling totally misunderstood. It's like before you speak, your thoughts are this neat, carefully folded plate of spaghetti. You know exactly what you want to say, right? The ideas are solid, they're organized, but then, boom, the pressure hits. You open your mouth, and suddenly, the spaghetti is just everywhere. It's dripping down the walls, you've talked way too much, you went in 10 different directions, you completely lost their attention, and honestly, you probably confused yourself. It's the worst. It damages your impact and definitely your self-esteem. But as we'll see, this whole chaotic mess, it isn't actually a character flaw.
Right, so first things first, you need to relieve yourself of the guilt right now. Rambling and losing your train of thought under stress, that is absolutely not a lack of intelligence. It is actually a biological response that is completely hijacking your brain. It's this phenomenon called social monitoring. So neurologically speaking, when you're put on the spot, your brain just stops focusing on the actual message you're trying to deliver. Instead, because we are social creatures deeply programmed to survive by staying in the group, your brain goes into absolute overdrive scanning the people in front of you. You stop trying to be clear and you instantly start analyzing facial expressions in real time.
So while your mouth is moving, your brain is secretly panicking in the background, asking things like, do they like me? Wait, am I saying the right thing? Are they going to keep me in the group? You're actively trying to adjust your sentences midstream just to gain their approval. You're seeking validation instead of offering clarity. And obviously trying to analyze everyone's tiny reactions while simultaneously formulating a coherent sentence, it's literally impossible. And that is exactly why the spaghetti ends up on the walls. You completely lose your original train of thought because your brain is totally focused on survival, not structure.
Okay, but we aren't just here to diagnose the problem. We're going to fix it. Today we'll cover Tool 1, the Rule of 3. Then Tool 2, the PrEP method. Tool 3, the 3 Ws. And finally, true charisma and pausing.
Let's jump right into Tool 1, the Rule of 3.
So this is your very first mental scaffolding tool, and it's specifically designed to prevent you from over-explaining and just dumping all your ideas out at once. Why 3? Well, your brain is essentially a massive pattern recognition machine. It's constantly scanning the world for rhythm, structure, predictability. You get the idea. And according to the psychology in our source material, the number 3 is basically the brain's neurological sweet spot. It's the smallest number that creates a satisfying pattern and gives a feeling of completeness, like a loop being closed, without becoming overwhelming. Think about it. If you try to give people 10 brilliant ideas, they're going to remember absolutely none of them. But 3 is manageable. It makes you sound decisive.
Just look at how history proves this framework works. Veni, vidi, vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. Or the French motto, liberté, égalité, fraternité. Abraham Lincoln's famous, of the people, by the people, for the people. I mean, these aren't accidents, right? They are carefully constructed lists of 3. Now, bring this into your daily life. Let's say you need to give a really quick update at work. Instead of rambling about every single thing on your desk, you just say, here's what we've already done, here's what's currently in progress, and here's exactly what I need from you today. Boom. 3 points. Everyone follows along, everyone actually retains it, and you instantly sound structured, clear, and visionary.
Moving right along to Tool 2, the PrEP method. Developed by communication expert Matt Abrahams, this one is your absolute ultimate emergency parachute for when you're caught totally off guard and have to speak impromptu without any prep time whatsoever. Let's break down the flow. PrEP stands for point, reason, example, point. It creates this beautifully neat conversational loop. So imagine your boss suddenly asks why a specific project should be prioritized. You don't panic, you start with your point. I believe we need to move forward with this immediately. Then your reason, because it directly addresses our most urgent client needs. Next, you back that up with a concrete example. For instance, just last week they warned us that delivery delays would be a deal breaker. And finally, you close the loop by restating that point. And that is exactly why this must be our number 1 priority. See? It gives your brain a literal track to run on so you don't derail.
The thing to remember here is that impromptu speaking is about connection, not perfection. The PrEP structure isn't about sounding like some robot reading a script, not at all. It's about giving your thoughts a rhythm and a direction. It totally prevents you from panicking and trying to read the room. By relying on that point, reason, example, point structure, you sound articulate, you sound grounded, and most importantly, incredibly human. You maintain your connection with the audience because you aren't completely lost in your own scattered thoughts.
Next up is Tool 3, the 3 Ws.
Now, if you ever need to explain strategic value incredibly quickly to someone who just dropped a high-stakes question on you, this is your secret weapon. The 3 Ws stand for what, so what, and now what. Let's look at how versatile this is. Imagine a professional crisis. What is the issue? We have a 12% revenue drop this quarter. So what? Like, why does it matter? This impacts our upcoming funding renewal. Now what? What is the action? We need to realign our marketing priorities this week. It's incredibly sharp, right? But it works for your personal life too. What? I declined the job offer. So what? Because it didn't align with my core values, which matters way more to me than a fancy title. Now what? So, I am staying open to the right opportunities. Using the 3 Ws just seamlessly demonstrates immense maturity, confidence, and absolute clarity of mind, no matter what the situation is.
And that brings us to our final piece, true charisma and pausing. So we've got the 3 structural frameworks, but to make them actually work in the real world, you really need an emotional mindset shift. Because let's face it, even the very best mental scaffolding is going to collapse if your mind is racing at 100 miles an hour. We are all kind of conditioned to believe that charisma means being the loudest in the room, right? Or talking the fastest so you aren't interrupted, or putting on this massive energetic performance. We think more equals smarter, but it really doesn't. True charisma doesn't shout, it doesn't over-explain, it doesn't need to take up all the space in the room. True charisma lives in calm and clarity. It is entirely about presence. Less is truly more when you actually trust the structure of your message and you trust the value of your own voice. So what do you do the exact moment that anxiety hits? You know, the moment your stomach ties in a knot and your brain wants to just throw that giant bowl of spaghetti against the wall. Well, you breathe, you drop your shoulders, you take your space. You give yourself the ultimate gift of a silent pause before you speak. That pause? It isn't a sign of weakness. It is a sign of total control. It signals that you're stepping out of that frantic social monitoring mode and stepping right into your own structural power. You don't need complicated jargon to sound smart. You literally just need a pause, a solid structure, and the courage to say exactly what you mean.
You now have the scaffolding you need to completely reclaim your voice, the rule of 3, the PrEP method, and the 3 Ws. So my question for you is this. The next time you're put on the spot, are you going to panic and let the spaghetti fly all over the walls? Or will you pause, pick your framework, and take total control? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredibly useful source material today. Go step into your next high-pressure conversation with absolute confidence. I'll catch you in the next one.